Hello, I'm George Nager from Biker Pros, and I have Jason from Texas Bike Works with me. And Jason is building a frame. And tell us about the frame and who you're building it for.
Well, I'm building this frame for the BikerNet Cycle Source Chopper Giveaway program.
That's coming up in, what, March, I think, right?
Yeah, that'll be for Daytona.
Daytona?
Uh-huh.
And
Giving it away.
the person building the giveaway chopper is Gary Morrow?
Gary Maurer of Customs Inc. And so he sent me some basic specifications on what he needed for frame dimensions, and sent me this nice piece of curved backbone tubing.
And you're going from there?
Yeah, so I'm just going to go.
So before we start on that, tell us a little about what got you started into your bike career.
Well, I grew up having a dad as a biker, so I've been around bikes my whole life, dirt bikes, mostly street bike stuff, Harleys, you know. I always remember him talking about Arlen Ness and Ron Smith, Sims, and Donnie Smith, and all the, you know, Dave Perowitz and all those guys. So I grew up hearing those names as a little kid, and I don't know, I just thought it would always be pretty neat to be a custom bike welder.
And now you are.
Yeah, after, you know.
Now I are, huh?
Yeah, after, you know, I went to MMI after graduating high school, you know, got 1 year there and got my Harley certificate. You know, so I went through the ranks and worked at dealerships, and I've worked for various, I guess my biggest or best job was when I worked for Biker's Dream. When they first started, I was with them before they went public, and worked with Johnny Pag and stuck with him for quite a few years, and which was really neat. I was able to build bikes for a lot of celebrities and famous sports figures, and so it was pretty neat working for a high-profile builder like that.
Got your feet wet then?
Yeah, you know.
With this, let's talk a little about what you do. You're pretty well known for building, I would say, retro frames, but high-tech retro frames.
Yeah.
Not using current technology to give you kind of an old frame look, and then still have a very solid bike that's not 30-year-old technology. You're talking about 2011, 2012 technology or something like that. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's what I try to do. I'm just a big fan of the 70s style vintage stuff, which is becoming to be more popular these days. A lot of the younger guys are into the old vintage stuff, and you know, I grew up around that, and I've got the old magazines to refer to, and you know, so I just thought it was really neat to see that there was an interest in that, and thought that might be a niche market I could get into.
And it has been.
Yes, and because I still have, you know, I'm passionate about all the old 70s chopper stuff, and it's just that we're in a newer era where CAD programs are readily available, technology, information sharing through the internet. You know, we're just, I think, much more fortunate and able. It's easier for us to build better stuff these days, you know, so.
Just take an image of something older and now you can update it to the current technology.
Right, use better materials, better processes. You know, a lot of this stuff hasn't really changed a lot, but there's still a lot of things that make things easier, you know. SolidWorks, for example,
sure.
You know, I'm able to design a frame on the computer and stress test it to see where its weak points are before
you go any further.
Right. I can correct the problem before it's even a problem.
Yeah.
So, okay, we've already pre-cut and pre-fit all the pieces. Now that I've prepped everything and got it ready to weld, we're going to go ahead and reassemble everything in the jig and prep everything for welding.
tubing, and you use basically DOM tubing, right?
Yeah, I use a DOM 1020.
So you're using 1020, which is heat treated, which gives you a higher tensile strength of the steel, which means that the frame is stronger, but you have to have more muscle work just to bend it, right?
Yeah, I still have a manual bender, so I'm the one tugging on it. So
the next step then is, once you've selected the steel, then what do we do?
Well, I would start by putting all of the fixed components that I know that I need to build the frame. Like the steering neck, the motor mount, transmission mount, and then the axle plates. And at that point, then I would start at bending tubing. I would start with the seat post, getting it fit and set in place properly so that I can notch for the backbone, and then I would notch my tubing and fit those. And then I could go ahead and at that point tack weld those in, because I know that's going to be a fixed location. And then I would start working on fitting the rest of the tubing, like bending up the lower frame rails and fitting them in place so that I know that get all my spacing and set right.
So the next thing that we're going to actually be seeing then is you're going to take this tool that you've completed here, and we're actually going to cut down through here so that these two bottom tubes, these down tubes, are cut so that the neck can fit in there. Is that right?
Yeah,
Is that the idea?
That's exactly right. That's what I'm going to do. It's called coping the tubing right here so that I can get a perfect fit on setting in my neck piece. It's kind of difficult, it's a tough spot to cope because you've got two different pieces of tubing coming together. All of the rest of this tubing pieces I can do in my tubing notcher.
And then after that, we're going to put the neck in place and then go ahead and weld that, right?
Yeah. Yeah, once I have all my tubing pieces pre-bent and pre-fit, I've got a notch out at the seat area, and that's about it for notching, just here in the seat. Some frames are different. I'll notch, because I can use different type of axle blocks, and that would require just a different kind of fitment, but
that's basically going to be what you're going to send to Gary once that's welded.
Yeah, this is it. I mean, I still have to make the top motor mount piece, and
so by tonight it'll be ready to ship to Gary.
Oh, you bet. Yeah, I'm ready to. At this point, after I notch this and put the neck in, I'm ready to actually start welding the frame together.
And speaking of that, if somebody wanted to get a hold of you to build a retro frame or even a custom frame, how would they do that?
The best way to reach me is at my email address at jason@texasbikeworks.com, or you can contact me through my website at texasbikeworks.com, or Facebook. I've got a Texas Bike Works Facebook page.
Well, Jason, thank you very much.
Okay, you bet. Thank
Thanks.
you.